Not quite.
A swath.
Yeah.
Remember your day.
All right, well, I think we'll get cracking. Welcome to the County of Huron Economic Development Board meeting for Thursday, November 6th. Appreciate everybody's attendance. We've actually got everybody here. That's awesome. Everybody have a look at the agenda. Have a motion to accept the agenda in a seconder. Roz, Sweat. Any more discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. So the Economic Development Board meetings are available live through Zoom, and recordings may be posted online on the County of Huron's YouTube channel. You may be seen and or heard as a part of these broadcasts, and your name, comments, and or presentation materials will become part of the public record. Any declaration of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof? Seeing none, the minutes of the previous meeting, October 2nd. Do you have a look at them?
I'll move those if you care.
Moved by the past warden, seconded by Lynn. All those in favor of the motion? Opposed? Carried. Moving right along, then we're now to 5. Our Youth in Huron, which is presented by Leanne Stanley. She
Coming?
coming in.
Yep.
Hi,
Welcome to the meeting. Thank you for being here.
no problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'll turn it over to you.
Okay, great. Let's jump right into it. Okay, well, my name's Leanne. I was a former junior economic development summer student at economic development for Huron County. I made this presentation as kind of my final project, aligning with County Council's youth attraction and engagement priority. I don't know if I can control this or if the next slide can be put up.
If you just say next, Susan will move it for you.
Oh.
Leanne.
Thank you. Okay, well, next slide. So today I'm going to talk about youth in Huron County. I'm going to discuss the findings of our June 2025 focus group. And then through that, we'll look at the literature review of supporting research. And then I'll kind of discuss the next steps we thought up. Next slide, please. So youth are defined as ages 15 to 29. Based on Statistics Canada's 2021 census, youth comprised 16% of Huron County. And youth's perceptions often become their reality, so it is important to understand their particular concerns and values. Next slide. Based on the age intervals from StatsCan, we can presume those 15 to 19 were fully dependent. Those aged 20 to 24 were expecting independence for the first time or completing a rite of passage like going away for school. Meanwhile, those 25 to 29 are presumed to be fully independent. Of the 9,665 youth in Huron County, they were evenly distributed, meaning the needs of each age group are equally as relevant, and each group will have different life experiences, goals, and fears. Next slide, please. In June 2025, Economic Development hosted a focus group with several students working for the county aged 19 to 24. All participants were currently enrolled in university in Canada. Director Rumble and Director Lass led on youth initiatives by starting with youth in their own departments for this focus group. Next slide. In our focus group, there were 3 youth who grew up in Huron County and 2 who had moved here later in life. And the youth in the focus group worked at the library, museum, and economic development. Next. We discussed a range of topics. The 4 main elements of the question were, how do we attract and retain youth in Huron County? So we tried to determine who we were attracting, what age, what audience. We asked what the message we say should be to our audience. We discussed how we should share this message, and then we discussed what needs to change and why. Next. So there are some key takeaways from the focus group that I'll share with you now. Next slide. So some of the struggles we identified, youth in our focus group identified struggling with transportation due to needing a car to work and live in Huron County, difficulties traveling between university and home, lack of public transportation. Cost of transportation also impeded a feeling of independence and the ability to socialize. Youth felt that there were a lack of events for them, and youth associated returning home with earning less and felt there were less job opportunities here than in the urban areas. Youth also identified a lack of rental housing within Huron County settlement areas, and youth experienced discrimination due to race, class, and/or sexuality, which impeded a feeling of belonging. Next, please. There are some personal experiences that participants shared that I want to pass on their behalf. One example a youth brought up was the rock concert in Goderich, which catered to youth, but they felt it wasn't accepted by older generations, and so it didn't reoccur. One participant noted it took 7 hours to travel from Waterloo to Exeter via public transport, and this difficulty getting home leads to youth not only returning for longer breaks, but also leading to a disconnect to their community. It was noted that it was hard to make friends moving here later in life, especially since hockey was too expensive, and experiencing discrimination in the community makes it feel like you don't belong. It was also noted that it can feel unsafe walking along busy roads or between towns or on unlit streets at night, and events usually cater themselves to families or occur during youth's regular work hours, making them inaccessible. Next, please. There were a couple key recommendations the youth in our focus group had. This includes improved promotion and development of transit solutions for youth and youth events, more representation of youth in county promotional materials, improved promotion and development of student jobs in Huron County as well, affordable housing, also availability of rentals within Huron County settlement areas, and accessible and affordable recreation for options for older youth in Huron County particularly. And also just encouraging more third places in and around Huron County and in businesses. Next slide, please. I'm going to go over some literature review on youth outmigration, which kind of emphasizes the concerns that we shared in our focus group. Next, please. So, in understanding youth, it was found that youth's perceptions of their home solidifies in high school. So, it is important that the 15 to 19-year-olds in particular have a positive relationship with their community. With that, students should be aware of what services and opportunities exist here before they even graduate high school. Additionally, youth need a third place other than home and school or work to improve their sense of community and belonging. Youth in Huron County also tend to connect with one another across several settlement areas. Findings state that effective youth strategies are consistent across all communities. Next, please. Research also found that youth-centered recreation can promote a sense of community really early on. Discrimination based on race, ethnicity, and sexuality is still a significant occurrence in rural southwestern Ontario. Experiencing discrimination damages youth's perceptions of feeling welcome and can cause them to want to leave their community. Youth are a key element to a vibrant and diverse community, but also are essential to the labor force. Therefore, we investigated some workforce statistics to go along with this. Next, please. After surveying Seaforth business owners and staff, it was found the top 3 workforce concerns were level of applicant experience, expectations around wage rates, and available workforce/shortage of workers. When comparing the age distribution of rural and urban Ontario, it found ages 25 to 29 and 65 to 69 had the highest discrepancies. Most significantly, rural populations saw the lowest amount of 25 to 29-year-olds compared to that of urban populations, while rural areas had the highest amount of 65 to 69-year-olds compared to urban. Huron County has an aging population where we anticipate the bulk of the workforce is nearing retirement. Now, this is essential a time to focus on our youth employment. Next, please. In 2025, Statistics Canada found that youth not in employment, education, or training was on the rise. This represents youth who are unemployed and youth not in the labor force currently. Most significantly, 46% of women aged 25 to 25, not in employment, education, or training, stated childcare as their reasoning, while only 5.4% of males in that age group did the same. This is significant as statistically women are more likely to pursue and complete post-secondary education, and women are also more likely to leave rural areas due to unemployment or lack of employment opportunities. Further, rates of unemployment for returning students aged 15 to 24 has increased to 17.4% this summer. This is the highest rate of youth unemployment, a 7.2% increase from the record low in June 2022 of 10.2%. The literature review here supports the themes that were identified in the focus group, and statistics can help us identify the growing concerns around youth attraction, including workforce. Next, please. Previous research on youth in rural communities does not account for the impact COVID-19 had. We need to develop an understanding of how expectations for youth differ from their reality. Potential research could have a broader impact on our understanding of youth attraction and engagement throughout all of Ontario. And we strongly believe that retention and attraction are intertwined, and further research could align our strategy. Next. So our proposal, this was kind of more tailored to County Council previously, but it's still relevant today. Next, please. So in sum, we want to plan to conduct a two-part study. We plan to hold qualitative focus groups in and out of Huron County to further inform a strategy to retain and attract youth. Next, please. Part one of the study would focus on youth to understand what youth value and what youth need. To determine the consistencies of these needs and wants among youth, we would consider those residing in and out of Huron County. And our research questions would consider what motivates youth, how we should bring youth together, what does belonging look like to youth and why does it matter to them, what's important to youth looking for a place to live, what's good here and what are the challenges of living here, and what do youth see as the role of municipal government in addressing their concerns. Next, please. Part two of the study would look at adult generations using similar questions to grasp their perspectives on what the community currently does for youth and where change can occur. It is important to distinguish what is missing from our community and what is just miscommunicated, and also investigate what is the role of those in our community in making space and welcoming youth. Next, please. Lastly, our action plan. Our first step this summer was to inform County Council of the additional research being planned and providing the data needed to inform a marketing strategy on youth engagement and retention. Next, it is to determine the budget for research and seek funding programs to offset the cost of this research. Third, we hope to determine the best path forward for conducting this research, whether it be a student thesis project, hired consultant, or utilizing university students from Huron County to carry out these focus groups. And lastly, conduct research and implement an associated plan in 2026. Next. And that's it from me. Unless there's any questions.
Leon, very well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions, comments, Russ?
Several comments. Leon, this is exemplary. Both the presentation and the research, the structure. There are so many nuggets in here that could be worthy of a whole day of conversation. But you've made some very profound comments in here. We say this a lot about the way about perception and reality, but you really took the layer off of that, the onion layer off, and really exposed what we mean by that. And I applaud you for that, because what is meaningful? And we toss that around so lightly, and you really did justice to it. And I'm really interested in what meaningful representation will look like from the perspective of youth. And I particularly loved how you sectioned out youth into three populations, because again, it always feels like others are defining youth and you're defining youth from a youth perspective. So I'm beyond impressed. And you talk about language, and I think communication. I'm really eager to see what recommendations and thoughts come out from communication from you and these future work to communicate more effectively and have stakeholder reach. So thank you. This is amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really great. Thank you for putting this together. Just a couple of questions on my side. The page on struggles, are those point items in certain order? Like, what was transportation the number one issue and independence? Like, or are they just randomly?
That's a good question. Yes. The points were in no particular order. They were also of more generalization of a lot more specific struggles. So transportation as a point alone represented a lot of different concerns at once. So there's a little bit of nuance to those.
Okay. So for example, I'm guessing in transportation, like ride sharing and
Mhm. Yeah,
public
youth proposed a
transportation,
lot of
probably.
different solutions. We talked about transportation in terms of walking, biking, driving, and kind of further from that as well. So yeah.
And then my second one was just around, I think just more of like a general comment, like I think the data aspect and the collection aspect is really amazing. I know we talked about some data collection priorities, and I think if there's an opportunity, it could be part of like a bigger data collection, kind of project that just happens, regularly. Instead of doing it kind of like, after that kind of thing. But yeah, it's just more of a general comment.
Thank you.
Yeah, as I said, when you presented to Huron County Council, it was probably the best presentation or delegation that I've been part of since I've been on council. So thank you for that, and thank you for your work. We were at an event that Roz actually emceed, Belonging Matters, and it was nice to see several youth at that event providing feedback as well. And I think that's the important move here, and continue to move forward. I don't want to stop just because you've given a presentation here into county council. I want to continue to hear from you and what next steps are what you think we need to do, right? As you said in the presentation, I find far too often that people our age in this room think we know what youth want, and we're not actually having the conversations with the youth themselves. I'm starting to see it change a bit, but I'd like to continue to work with you and other youth so you have the voice and you can tell us what the struggles are. Because if we're not having these conversations, we can pretend all we want, right? And that's where we fail, right? We have to connect. We have to go to the schools. The students won't come to us. You came to us today, but we can't expect everyone to come to us. We have to go to them. So I just want to say thank you once again.
Thank you.
Good. Derek.
Yeah, I'd like to echo again, excellent presentation. That was great. One point in particular hit home with me was to let youth know what's here before they leave. And I'd like to hear your thoughts as to where you feel the greatest return on our investment, or how we can reach that youth, how we can get that message out before they leave. Like, I know Lynn has mentioned before, and I agree 100%. There's 5 guidance counselors in the high schools across, or like there's 5 high schools. So that's a bottleneck of where we could get to, get contact with the youth before they leave and spread that message. I'm just wondering how you feel we could spread that message more, because there is a disconnect there. So.
Yeah, I think letting youth know what's here before they leave has a lot of different levels to it. At service level, definitely, like you're talking about, guidance counselors, job opportunities, education opportunities, training opportunities. That's really, really important for youth to know that they can come back here and live here and work here. But a level deeper is, recreation and services. So letting youth know, I find often people my age go to the city to have, fun while they're young and, see different things, and emphasizing that there's things to do for fun for youth in Huron County, or if there isn't, creating those opportunities and emphasizing that early on in high school. You can stay here if you want to do recreation. You can stay here if you want a good nightlife. You can stay here if you want to explore and have fun, and those things are possible at home, and you don't have to leave to do those things. So yeah, I want to emphasize for what we should be showing youth early on. It is, and definitely certainly should be, career and training, but it's also livelihood and lifestyle, showing youth that we have what they're looking for in cities, which is those recreation opportunities, sports leagues. And if they don't exist and youth are looking for them, creating those opportunities.
That's great. Thank you very much.
Swat?
Yeah, I just want to add some awareness comments for all the business owners that summer student program for 2026 is funded by government. Those applications are open now. It opened yesterday, and it's open till December 31st. And the whole program is 100% funded for a nonprofit organization, and 50% funded for any other businesses. So you can have students for 8-week funded program, and you can train them, retain them. The only thing, it's only for students. So they need to go to college, university, or school, like back to school after September. They can still work part-time after that, but this program is funded by government. I got grant from I'm getting grant from last 2 years, and we pass that money to whoever works with that program as a bonus or something. But yeah, this is how it works, and it's easy money.
When you say funded, you mean the government pays for
Yeah.
the students' employment?
Yes,
Got it.
the whole wage,
The whole,
like 50% of, for us, it's 50%.
okay.
But
Sorry.
but for nonprofit, it's 100% funded. And for any other businesses, it's 50% of your minimum wage.
Got it.
We'd be happy to circulate that link.
Okay.
Leon was partially funded last year through that program as well
Right.
as their summer students the year before. So we typically use that program. Canada Summer Jobs is the name of the program.
Lynn,
Yes, again, I'll echo what everyone else has been saying. It's a great presentation and research that you have conducted, Leon. So congratulations. I'm sure you got great work experience out of that whole process. So just with respect to the action plan, you know, the goals that you would like to kind of carry on with, what are the prospects for additional funding to sort of see you through that, if any? Are you currently or active applying for funding outside of the county? And if so, how does that look?
I'm not currently employed by the county at this time. I'm back
Okay.
at school. I will, if you
Okay.
want to take that one for me.
Thanks, Leon. So moving forward, Leon's and the other students' work has been really informative for both Director Rumble and myself. It has led to making sure there was a focus group for youth at our strategic planning session, and youth are invited back for the working meeting next week as well. So once we know what our priorities and actions are based on that, we are for implementation of the strategic plan, we are applying to ROD for funding. At the same time,
Sorry, Vicky, what is ROD?
oh, sorry, my apologies. It was the RED program, Rural Economic Development, and it's
Okay.
now called the Rural Opportunities Development
Okay.
Program. So it's open to municipalities, not-for-profits, and there is a business stream to apply for assistance with implementation of projects. We would very much like to attract Leanne back for next year for some consistency, but she also has some other interests to explore, and this is the point in life to do that exploration. So we're keeping in touch. We will be looking at an ongoing project, and between Leanne's work and the strategic planning work, we'll be looking at defining that more clearly. And also I know that Director Rumble, they do community conversations every year, and this year the focus will be on youth. So getting more information back around that exploration piece will be happening. But the one thing that both Director Rumble and I recognize is the most important work to be done in this area will be done by youth. So in youth work that I have done that I've done previously, and that Leanne has proven that the most effective youth work is by youth for youth. And so being able to find those youth voices to explore, Leanne listed some really good options, like explore this being a master's project or a research project for an existing university student. So we'll be exploring those once we have a bit more definition on exactly what we're going to move forward on, and that will come through in the strategic planning process as well. So it will either confirm or add to what Leanne has presented us with here today, but it is a priority.
Yeah, and I guess just having, been on this board for a few years now, like it has been a consistent priority. I think that this work that Leanne has accomplished is it gives us the stats, right? It gives us the stats, it gives us the priorities. And I mean, if I can speak on behalf of the board, just hearing everyone this morning, I think that this is certainly a really top priority, because we have the stats, we have an aging population, and we need to get it. I don't know if we can get ahead of it, but we need to be on it, right? So, I mean, I'm just sort of going by what everyone has been saying this morning, and I think it's just a really, really, in my mind, a really strong priority for the department and the board.
And the
Yeah.
board may consider as we further define and look at potential actions if they want a working group around this as well.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
something to consider for the board to decide if that is something that would be a priority for them in 2026 to move forward. I'm just wondering, Tina, you were in the youth focus group?
Amazing.
Did
I
you-
I think Lee and I had actually said to you in the meeting, I was fortunate enough, guys, to be part of the strat planning workshop where the youth crew was. I would echo Mayor Bazinet's sentiment, and if I were you, Leon, I would take his quote and put it on the top of your CV. It was the most candid, engaged, probably one of the largest youth groups I've ever been privileged to see. And I sat there and typed everything you guys said. I think I emailed Vicky in the middle of the meeting to say, oh my gosh, you're gonna wish you were here. It was so good. And so the only thing I would say is you guys ain't seen nothing yet, because I got to sit with this group for 2 hours. And what I felt, Leanne, was, what I feel that could have been added to the report would, like, we went through this great question about what youth like in Huron County. That would have been nice, I think, for people to hear too, because it surprised me a little bit. And the nice thing about sitting with the group for 2 hours is you get to hear all the examples, and some of the ones that your peers and you expressed that night were things like, if you're putting events on Facebook, I'm not seeing them because I'm not on Facebook. And yeah, there's lots to do here, but scratch out pickleball and cards and what's left, right? Like they're living
I love.
experience. And something really sad that struck me was that the amount of times we talked about the heavy drug use in the community. I don't associate that so much with youth. So that saddened me. And I don't know if it was you, Leanne, or somebody said, when we want to get together, if we don't want to be in a crowd that's doing drugs, we're going to McDonald's and we're sitting in parking lots to meet and talk. And so I think the more time we can spend with Leanne and her group, or just, I'm so happy that you were part of the strat planning process and meeting. And I know, Chris, you probably have more to say about that, but fantastic. Fantastic.
Give us the Coles notes on the things that
I can
did really like in the area?
yeah,
Is there like,
friendliness,
yeah,
the lake,
yeah,
being outside,
okay,
trails, a few more, nature.
yeah.
So you can see
So
the
the
theme there, feeling safe.
Yeah.
A great volunteer base here, commitment to heritage and opportunities to decompress and get outside.
Okay.
Commitment to heritage.
And was there anything else that you wanted to comment on about what youth like
About what youth like.
and don't like? Feel free.
Feel like
Further
I've
comments
said
are
enough
welcome.
about what youth don't like. And I think it's just those points, right? Like a lot of it is nature based. I think that's the county's best asset to youth that often kind of goes maybe unnoticed or underappreciated is youth actually really do like the access to nature here, the protection of nature. Like myself, like I just love being near a clean lake and beach and having that accessible to me all the time and my friends. I will note, it's funny you mentioned that actually. Um, is we talked a little bit about youth recreation and just, the inability to almost get together, it feels like at times. And it's funny you mentioned because it was me, the McDonald's example.
Yeah.
Because me and my best friend actually both attended that youth strategic planning session. And we left and we stood in the parking lot after and we're like, well, we want to keep talking because we had a lot to talk about after that 2 hour session. And we ended up at Tim's and we had a donut and we sat there until they kind of gave us the cold shoulder and then we went home. So, but it was interesting, the two of us, because we both participated, we both really enjoyed the strategic plan. But we did leave and we kind of felt like we'd mentioned recreation a little bit of, it'd be nice to have stuff to do. But, we were two 20-year-old girls with cars standing in Clinton and we had nowhere to go just talk and hang out. And both of our houses were in opposite directions of each other. So we're just like, this is literally what we were trying to communicate. And something I think I want to emphasize more is, a lot of youth, we are a very agricultural area. A lot of youth do have jobs where we're from and a lot of guaranteed employment. We're very secure that way, I'd say. But what youth are looking for at the end of the day is somewhere to live where they can actually do things. And that's something the city is attracting us to that I feel like we're just underemphasizing in Huron County is what can we actually do when we get off work in Huron County? You know, there's a lot, but a lot of the recreation is that really core point because at least for the people my age and myself, we're not at the age where we're having kids or we're thinking of getting married and doing all of those crazy busy things that keep you occupied. We're looking for somewhere where we can make a good income and then at the end of the day go somewhere and spend it. So recreation is something we both afterwards discussed and really wanted to emphasize is it's really important to youth when we're deciding somewhere to live, especially after university, because we still want to be able to have a life and have fun and enjoy ourselves. So yeah, that's it.
Any other questions for, oh,
Just one more if I can. Yeah, I love the energy in this room. And there's a reason why there's energy in this room. It's because of Leon, right? And I find whenever I'm in a room, in a school talking to kids, I leave, energized and ready to get some stuff done. Leon, thank you for including the photo of the outdoor rinks in the town of Goderich. That's near and dear to my heart. But what does the future look like for you, right? So you worked with the county and now, you're not working with the county. So what are your goals and aspirations?
Like in general, or
Yes. Like where do you want to go with your life?
oh man, I was not prepared for that.
Yeah, that's what I do. I throw people under the bus. But no, we talk about, how do we attract and retain youth in our community? Are you actually leaving Huron County yourself?
Honestly, that's really valid. Hopefully not. We'll see. I'm currently in my third year of undergrad at University of Ottawa, so that's where I am now, or else I would have loved to be there in person with everyone, but that's a long drive. Um, I'm approaching my fourth year of study. I mean, I'm looking to go abroad for a year, looking to do post-grad, whether that's a master's or law. Really interested in legal studies, but also I really liked municipal government, so that's an interest for me now.
Good.
But like frankly, I'd love to come back to Huron County, but even this summer, I'm in a place where I'm not actually certain where I'm gonna live when I come home. Parents move, things change. I'd love to stay local, but I'm trying to figure out if that's an option for me or not at this point. In the long term, I'd love to come back to Huron County. For me, it's about the opportunity of if I can get a job there. I find a lot of the time when you graduate, you have to pick the city you graduate from or your hometown and move back and hope you find a full-time job. That's just kind of how it goes. So it's kind of taking that bet for myself in a couple years of do I move home and see what I can find there or are my chances better here? But I'd love to come back. And I think something that's a bigger emphasis for me than really anyone else in the focus group or maybe most people you talk to in Huron County. But it is my experiences being racialized in Huron County. That's a big factor. Wherever I live and end up, getting married and having a family, I want to live somewhere where my kids feel accepted in a way that I maybe didn't when I was younger. So if I see change like that in Huron County, I would love to make it the place I call home forever. But at the end of the day, that's a really big priority for me on top of career and recreation is feeling accepted and protecting any future people I bring into the earth from experiencing the things that I might have experienced at a young age.
Well, thank you for sharing. I really appreciate that.
yeah, go ahead.
Lee, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I had the privilege of sitting in a lot of the conversations. I did not sit in only the council focus group because I wanted people to be able to speak freely at all those meetings and not feel like they had to temper their comments with me in the room. But in the conversations that Leanne and I had and the group of students had with Director Rimble and myself, I think there's something that it wasn't necessarily overtly stated, but I think I need to share the observation, and that is youth engagement, attraction and retention is not just a project.
Mhm.
So in all the decisions we make, we should be looking at things with a youth lens. So we have a number of woodland trails that the county maintains. And that's great. That's attractive. But if we designated a few of them or developed a few of them for mountain biking, for example, and advertised it, that may signal that we are really interested in what youth and others want to do. When we treat our newcomers well, we signal that we're a welcoming community. When we fly the pride flag, we signal that we're a welcoming community. So it's not just a project, it's an overall statement in every decision we make of who we are, and youth are watching. And so youth are taking a look and saying, well, they're saying they're friendly, but are they? And I'm not saying that we have to do everything for youth, and they were very clear about that, you know, giving opportunities like through the SLIP program for the youth that are here to see that we value their voice and we want to encourage them to do things. So but it's not just a project, it's a consideration in everything we do. Leanne arrived at the department, she started to look at some of the things we produce. We're so proud of our new community profile. And the first thing she said was, well, there's no young people in this. It's like, oh. So, you know, reality, I thought there were young people in it. They weren't. They were young, you know, comparison to me, but they weren't young enough for Leanne to see herself. So again, when we put out our visitor's guide, will Leanne and her peer group see themselves? Or is it families, young children, seniors, families? So it's a lens. It's a consideration in everything we do to be truly impactful. Did I hit that fairly
I think
close?
so.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Great. Well, not seeing any other questions. Leanne, thank you again for taking the time to be with us today and offering us a fabulous presentation and lots of things to think about. So thank
Thank
you.
you for having me.
Thanks, Leanne.
So we have a motion in the agenda 5.1. Gonna have a mover and a seconder for that motion. Trevor, Burton? Any more discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. So moving on to 6, opening comments. Just a couple of things. I just wanted to thank everyone for their participation in the strategic plan. I know a lot of people were involved in different ways with groups. I was involved with a focus group at the Reach Center. I know some had individual interviews and also online questionnaires, did that sort of thing. So I really appreciate it. It's critical for us going forward that information comes to the surface. So thank you. The other thing I wanted to mention is that, and some of you have likely heard about it, is on Sunday, the County Huron and United Way Perth Huron are hosting at the Four Winds Barn in Brussels a celebration of local flavor and community. Inspired tasting lunch features recipes from the Abundance Cookbook. There'll be a number of different groups there. Eddington's The Whole Pig, Bistro, Kate's Cafe, and Robinson's Maple Products. I only printed one page, so there might be something on the next.
White Squirrel is the only one
Oh, White Squirrel, yes.
for dessert.
We'll be there. It's from noon till 2. Tickets are $45. I think it'll be quite interesting. The cookbook will be available for purchase there as well. So depending on what everybody's doing on Sunday, that's something to keep in mind, and maybe we'll hear a little bit more about that
We can say
later.
So the cookbook is a fundraising project for United Way here in Perth, but it features a lot of our Taste Trail participants and then a lot of our restaurants. So it's the next way that we're animating the Taste Trail, and Rick and Allie have done an incredible amount of work to bring the celebration together, and again animate that Taste Trail for us. And the part that Brian was stating that you might hear more about later is we are pleased to offer each board member a ticket to attend on Sunday if you're interested at no cost. So if you just let us know if you'd like a ticket, then Rick and Allie will work that out for you. For those of you who have purchased a ticket, bring a friend. And if you've purchased a ticket, just a quick overview of if you had frustration with the ticket purchasing process. we're in a situation right now where we don't have a platform anymore that we can charge for events, courses. We used Eventbrite up until this spring. They changed some of their rules, making it practically impossible to get our money out of that platform. So we can't use that platform anymore. Our IT department is working on a solution. It's being piloted right now. So we hope very soon we'll be able to charge again and actually get money. So to the credit of Eat Local Huron, they volunteered to sell tickets for us so that we could actually make this should break even with the ticket sales. So if there were complications, it's because the platform was designed to sell food, not tickets. Just want to apologize for that. And we're working on smoothing that out so that we can move to ticket sales again for the work that we do.
So to clarify, oh, go
May I
ahead.
just
Tammy.
add? So that specifically what happens is when you go in to buy tickets, you have to choose pickup or delivery, right? So you don't want to get them delivered, you want to pick them up, fine. But the next pickup date available is next Thursday. I mean, we're so close to the event now, it doesn't matter. They're open now, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, so you can skip over to Eat Local here and pick up your tickets after the meeting, which is what I'm doing.
And you actually don't have to pick them up as long as you have proof of that confirmation of proof of
even better.
purchase on your phone.
Okay,
We have a generated list. You have to show us your proof of purchase, but you don't have to go pick up physical tickets.
okay.
So
Thank you.
it's been a really challenging year to collect fees. And it's been a really good educational process to use other people's platforms where we can to do that and see where we can perfect. So anyways, we do have a ticket for each of you if you're interested.
So you go to Eat Local Huron's website and purchase a ticket? And then,
If you want additional tickets, yes.
okay, and then otherwise if you want a free one,
You just give
email
me your
Rick?
name. Yeah, or give me your name before you leave today.
Okay.
We'll take care of it that easily. Okay.
Good.
Great.
Great, so 7 board member comments. Anybody have anything? Seeing none, then we'll move on to 9.1.
First one came.
Yes, yep. Succession Planning Workshop Group Update, November 2025, presented by Director Laws.
So the Succession Planning Working Group, along with partners from Huron Entrepreneur Fund, have been working towards defining of a succession planning ecosystem. So we met in July. We reported to you in October around what was discussed at that meeting. One of the outcomes was to be starting to put the pieces together of what an ecosystem to support succession planning would look like. So what Brittany has prepared for you today is you'll see a schematic, a diagram of the business ecosystem for succession planning. That's a document that's going to a larger meeting, larger than just our succession planning working group, on November the 18th. So we'll be back around the table with banks, financial institutions, partners, Huron Entrepreneur Fund, the Chamber will be joining us, Community Futures Huron. And the idea of this is just to get a start to look at, are there gaps? Have we missed someone who's in the ecosystem? As well as identify, if we haven't missed someone, but there's a gap, we need to look at that gap and how could that gap potentially be filled. We wanted to make sure that all the board members saw it as well, because you are all involved in the economy and understand who the players are and have different networks. And it's through compiling everyone's joint knowledge that we are going to be able to lay out the most robust ecosystem and then determine how people who want to buy or want to sell can use that ecosystem to get the very best support, and what our role in economic development is within that ecosystem. So in front of you is a report by Brittany, as well as our first kick at the can. Full credit to Brittany. This makes my head hurt just a little bit, but she did a beautiful job at listening at that meeting, compiling the knowledge we hold within the department and conversation with some of our partners to put this together to get started. So then the next step at the meeting on November the 18th will be to review this, identify anything that's missing or gaps that are there, have further conversation about what are the overall defined goals of this working group led by the succession planning working group of the board. In consideration is what John Marshall mentioned about a big event where we bring everybody together and say, what's the book value of succession planning in Huron County, or what is the conversation with a wider population? That is one of the down the road goals, but what do we need to get there to have that conversation? The other conversation is around who does what within the ecosystem, and moving forward on that. One of the items that was identified in July as missing was the valuation piece. And so one of the members of that group, who was brought to us by Roz, thank you, Ben Thalico, who has retired from CIBC, is working on some new products and services in this space. And so he's having some of his former coworkers come from CIBC in Toronto to do a presentation on valuation, which is one of the gaps that's already identified in this ecosystem. So it looks to be a really interesting meeting. And of course, in January, we'll bring you another report to keep you up to date on what's happening with that meeting. So we just wanted to give you a bit more background. We wanted you to take a look, and it's a lot to digest. So moving forward, if you have any comments about, I think this is a gap, you missed this potential partner, maybe you should also talk to, please send those comments to Brittany, and she'll be happy to coordinate those and consolidate them. And
Good.
I'm open for questions if there are any.
I can certainly send it to Brittany, and she had sent this to me, and I said I'd look at it and get back to her, and I did look at it and I didn't get back to her. So I don't want to throw her under the bus here. I think John would probably echo this. The only thing that's missing is, imagine yourself trying to put a deal together. You go through all the boxes, you still can't put your deal together. The thing that's missing is the alternative lenders. And that's the thing I think we complain about the most, is the difficulty of putting a deal together. A simple deal is easy to put together. It's the hard deals where you actually really need the chart and the people and the support. So alternative lenders, like them, hate them, love them, they do play a role in putting together some of the best deals I've ever seen, actually. I mean, I know there's a young business person that was trying to buy an established business here in the county and couldn't get funded. So he just stopped. I was like, no, dude, you can't stop. Like, this is where you start, really,
Yeah.
right? So I think that is missing from
Yes.
the visual ecosystem there, but amazing job putting all that together.
Yeah.
Right.
And we have also had feedback about another way to portray this. So making it user-centric focused. And so open to all of those suggestions, but we're really pleased. We've circulated to the invitation list, and we were already getting some written feedback prior to the meeting. So there is passion and excitement about the conversation, which is great. Thank you for that.
That's great.
I don't know if anybody saw the last CIBC commercial with Connor McDavid, but they promote, this is when I think Ben must have fed back up the channel. You know, if Connor and McDavid wanted to be an engineer, the CIBC would be there helping him tick the boxes and getting going, and or if he wanted to be something else. And it's, to me, I mean, it's a little challenging because I don't believe CIBC is there doing that, but they're definitely advertising that they are, right? So Tina's bang on. Anybody that wants to start a business on entrepreneur, you're just out of luck going to the mainstream, right? I mean, we've all seen that experience, and it's extremely challenging to get financing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So unless it's a vendor take back or
Yeah.
something like
Unless you
that.
fit nicely in the boxes and it's all secured.
We were actually Connor McDavid.
Oh, you're actually going to be David.
Probably doesn't need to go this way.
Exactly. I just want some of my money back, right? Any questions, comments? Seeing none, then we will, so we have a motion crafted for us on the agenda. And I have a mover and a seconder for that.
Happy to do that.
Past warden, who would like to second that? Tina. All right. Any more discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Seeing none, then we will move on to 9.2, Economic Development Strategy Plan Progress Update with Chris Watson. Thanks, Chris, for being here and
Chair,
doing that for us.
I'm just gonna give a quick 10,000-foot overview of what you'll find in the report. I think the thing I really want to highlight is that we had a really overwhelming amount of participation across the different sector groups and one-on-one interviews and survey results. We got some really good information back. That information essentially is formulating, helping us understand where the problems are, essentially. And yeah, we got good participation across our sectors. The youth focus group got a lot of attention today. I think the consultants were really pleased with the not just the amount of youth that we managed to get to the session, but also the level of participation that Tina spoke of and Wien spoke of earlier. So all of that is fantastic. In terms of next steps, next Wednesday morning, the 12th, is our working session. And I'll apologize in advance. I know there's about 1,000 things going on in the same day. It just seems to be the nature of the fall. But that session will really help us define actions. So at this point in the process, we've figured out where all these problems are, and there's all of these issues. Now it's coming time to, okay, where should the department focus its attention? Where should we as a department of the county decide to invest time and resources to address whichever barriers we feel are within our sphere of influence that we can actually impact, and then B, where we can have the most impact. So again, I think it's going to be a really important session for all of you who have already confirmed your attendance. Obviously, the entire board has been invited to this. I can't thank you guys enough, those that are able to attend. For those that can't attend for whatever reason, what we're trying to do is, again, there'll be a sort of a workbook that goes out beforehand. I guess what we'd ask is, take a look at it. If you can provide any comments, you can in advance. We expect that workbook to be out, available Friday, and go out. Then what we hope to do is be able to follow up afterwards with, okay, this is where we ended up, and just get a gut check from folks before things proceed too much further. Following that, just to give you a sense of where we're aiming. So once this session on the 12th is completed and we've got some of that feedback afterwards, from there, we're going to draft a strategic plan. So again, that will essentially have, for lack of a better word, a bit of a shopping list for the department over the next 5 years in terms of what we're going to focus on and what we're going to try to address, as well as a 10-year vision. So what that helps us do is just sort of keep the finish line on the horizon and keep us tracking in that direction. I mean, we've all been through some pretty big shocks over the last couple of years, and we expect those shocks to continue. Again, that vision just sort of helps us, keep the shore in sight. Keep us in mind. Even if we get diverted, if we get pushed off to the side in one direction, it just sort of helps us keep focused on where that is. The whole process is important just because we need the community to actually comment on this, right? Like there's no point in Vicky, myself, and the rest of the team just sitting around, locking ourselves in this room and trying to figure out what we should do. We need that input and stakeholder engagement from the community to make sure that what we think is the right thing is actually the right thing. And if it's not, we need to make sure that we change that vision and change that plan to reflect what it is the community actually wants. I'll stop there and pass it over to Vicky.
Most importantly, in that community consultation are our member municipalities. And so because it's a tricky date and with relatively short notice, some of our member municipalities cannot attend. So we will be going out to have a conversation with each of our member municipalities to say, here is what it's looking like, here is where we're trending. Does this meet your needs? Is this what you need from us? Is because they're so very different across the 9-member municipalities. So we are committing to those conversations before the end of December, probably before the middle of December. So that we make sure that our most important strategic partners are those member municipalities, so that we can look at maximizing everybody's resources, aligning work, not duplicating it, and being able to, like a good tug of war team, pull in the same direction at the same time. That's not being involved in everybody's work at all times, but it's making sure we understand the vision that's been set and asking that if allowing our most important stakeholders to have comment and make adjustments based on the feedback we hear from them. So we do, even if you're there on that day, we do want to make sure that we circle back because we're all spending taxpayers' dollars and we all want to make sure we're, again, highest and best use of resources, not just for this department, but for our stakeholders who are doing similar work or complementary or aligned work as well. So.
Good comments?
Yeah, with the presentation we just had earlier, is that information going to be included in this, Vicky? And-
Yes.
Okay, just because I'm assuming there'll be no youth there.
Well, actually, we have a few. There's a couple coming. Unfortunately, not the same ones
Right.
necessarily that were at the working group, but one of the 5, I think Ben is coming.
Yeah.
One of the original 5, Ben lives here in Goderich, and I believe he's coming. We were really lucky the week of the focus groups. It was reading week for a number of them.
Okay.
We have
So
a lot of people.
yeah, so we had a lot of youth turnout, which was good, but we do have some, and then we'll be ground truthing again with youth too. So just
Thank you.
Yeah, is there?
So I think this is amazing. Like, I really commend you guys for obviously collecting the data and putting through the efforts to, like, get this all together. And just getting a consultant involved too, I think has a lot of value and kind of getting an outsider's opinion. I guess I just want to stress as much as I can that I think like the data collection aspect of it can't just be like a ad hoc kind of scenario. If there's an opportunity to constantly collect data, right? Like maybe it's every year, it's part of the property tax, letter that you get where you get some consensus data every year and you're constantly collecting data on a continual basis, then you can be much more proactive and you can see trends as they come instead of, maybe every 3 or 5 years or waiting for something to happen and then starting to collect data. And by the time you collect all of it and you put something in place, something else could have changed right after that. So at least if you're constantly collecting that data, that you can be much more proactive. And like consensus data, maybe it could be a revenue opportunity at the same time. So maybe it pays for itself, right? Like, so yeah, I just want to reinforce just the continual nature of collecting data and how important that is, I think, to what you guys do.
Well, I know Chris referred to a few people that aren't able to make it, and I'm one of them. I'm chairing a meeting that morning, so I really want to thank everybody that is attending to be there and, be as enthusiastic as they were in their previous meetings about this, because at the end of the day, some of the responsibility falls on our board to act on what comes forward along with county council. So we need to have all that information out there and let the consultant do what they do and come back with it. So thank you. Any other comments or? Seeing none, then we have a motion on our agenda 9.2. Can I have a mover and a seconder for that? Roz and Trevor? Any discussion on the motion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. So we will now turn on to new 9.3, selection of the 2 SLYP application reviewers. Is Rick going to step in for that?
it's coming in. Yep.
Here comes Rick. He'll guide us through this. Thanks for joining us, Rick.
You can have my chair. Yeah, I don't need to even sit. You sure? Here, I'll
Come on, come and be welcome. There's a chair here.
check in spirit. You're.
We're nervous when you stand. Yeah.
Yeah, this- So the supporting local youth program closes next Friday, the 14th. So really just looking for people to be on the review panel to see who gets approved this year. Most likely the following week, so the week of November 17th. Particularly looking at like probably the 17th will let us go through the applications and put them in some kind of order. But looking at maybe the 17th, 18th, 19th, or 20th to actually set a time to review those applications. Because the expectation is always that we'll turn it over pretty quickly, that they will get word that they've been approved so they can start doing the project.
Do you want to do that, Tina?
Can maybe nominate someone? You did just say you were asking.
Yes.
Okay.
I think we would like two.
Okay.
Previous years, we've had two people from the board on the panel, and then we try to wrangle a couple of local youth to also sit
Okay.
on the panel.
Maybe nominate a fellow board member?
Yeah, possibly. I think Lynn, you,
Sure. Yeah.
Lynn's okay to do it. She did it last year.
Yeah.
It's nice to have
me.
continuity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Because
but I don't,
days.
if anyone else is
Yeah.
wanting to do it.
Mr. Chair, you're
One
not
person.
doing it again?
No, I'm away.
You're away. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'd like to nominate somebody then.
Go for it.
Could I nominate Svat Gandhi?
Yeah.
I think Svat would be awesome at that.
You able to act here around that week, hopefully?
You don't have a couple of restaurants to worry about.
Yeah.
Renovation's done.
Yeah, exactly.
Which week is it?
The week of
Very-
November 17th, but looking at the 18th, 19th, or 20th.
And it would be
18, 19, 20th?
Yeah. We don't know how many applications we'll end up with, but I don't imagine it would take more than 2 hours. We don't get as many for slip as. we do.
17. Actually, I'm leaving on 19 and coming back to December 10th, so I'm away 20 days.
Ooh.
Good for you.
We could do it the 18th.
I can do 18. Yeah.
You're
Afternoon.
not probably doing.
Before you
You
leave,
do it at Boston Pizza, Rick?
you can say no, Svat. No, that's okay.
No,
Somebody else will step
I
up.
know there's something in the morning for me on the 18th, so afternoon of the 18th.
The afternoon of the 18th probably would work for, my husband and I are down to one car that week, so that might be tricky, but the 18th would work for me in the afternoon, but I'm not, but no pressure. Yeah.
By the way,
Just
I
realizing.
feel like there's no.
Do 18, 19, I have flight on 19, so
Yeah.
I can do 18.
Okay,
You sure?
18th it is.
Who's gonna pack your bag for you?
Yeah. I'll be
Yeah.
information on the week before,
Here.
when I have a better sense of how many applications.
Yeah.
I'd be reviewing.
And what are you seeing so far, if we may ask? Have
Okay.
you had inquiries?
We've had a few inquiries, but not a lot. And again, that doesn't surprise me
Yeah.
because of the age group. They're all gonna apply mostly in
And
the last hours.
We had information sessions this year.
Yes.
For a change of pace. And how did that work with this age group?
Not great.
Yeah, because again, this works for seasoned applicants, or it works for adults. So looking
Yeah,
at.
but we had some youth who got a SLIP grant last year from CHSS, do a video talking,
Mm.
promoting the program, and
Which is very fun.
that got a lot of traction, actually. That had a few thousand views, so. So we think the information's out there. All of the municipal partners are posting it this week as well, so it's always in that final week that you actually get.
I thought the video was.
Where are the municipal partners posting it, Rick?
We've asked them, so some have direct email to their networks. We've also sent it to all the high schools, principals to circulate, and that was a couple of weeks ago. I sent it to Sarah Louise. I don't know where.
Okay, well, no, I'm glad you said that.
Yes,
Yeah.
she's got the information, so we've left it up to them, like you can post on your socials, or if you
Yeah.
have people in your network that you want to direct email it to, sometimes that's more effective.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna work on a motion here. We're amending the one that's in the agenda. The Economic Development Chair and Board accept the report from Rick Sickinger, Director, oh, can't call him Director. Economic Development.
Please don't.
He's dated November 6th, titled Selection of 2 SLYP Application Reviewers for Information, and that further the Economic Development Chair and Board appoint Lynn and Sweat as board members, reviewers for applications submitted through the program for the purpose of allocating the $10,000 budget. Is that satisfactory?
Perfect.
Perfect. So can I have a mover and a seconder for that? Warden Derek? Any more discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Very good.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Rick.
Thanks, Rick.
So we're on to 9.4 County Council Priorities 2025-26, presented by our Director Lass. Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. At our last meeting, there was some discussion around what does this mean? And so the current county council priorities and it was listed agriculture and economic development is noted below, and then below that is agriculture and planning and development is listed below. So there was a report that went to council with more details written by CAO Work. On March 20, or sorry, the council set their priorities in March 24 and 25, and this report was the result. It went to council on April 23rd that further explained in some detail, summarized for county council what they spoke about. So I just directly added the report, and anything that had a yellow highlight was what was assigned to economic development to lead or to collaborate on. So looking at the report, for agriculture economic development, the council wanted us to work on a new ag succession planning strategy. And that is part of the work that we're doing with overall succession planning. So we began the work, as you saw from Brittany's report, we began the work on succession planning with the agricultural community and now have expanded it to all businesses, all sectors. So honing in again on what that new ag succession plan looks like, I'm pleased to say that in the recent couple of months, we've been getting a lot of attention on that work that we did around agriculture. We have been asked by University of Calgary to sit down with them and talk about the work that we did, especially on the podcast. They found them online and they were most interested in those sort of kitchen table conversations. We have been asked to speak at the community of practice that is hosted by Ministry of Rural Affairs and the OFA to talk about our work there, along with the work that Wellington is doing, which is really quite good as well. And then individually, we have been asked just to consult with some of our neighbors. And then at the EDCO conference in February, they do a session where it's called Ask an Expert, and the expert sits at a table and people circulate around and discuss different ECDEV topics. We've been asked to be that expert for one of the tables on succession planning work in the ag sector. And that is an honor. All of that is exciting. What's really exciting is I find that EDCO is often urban based. So the fact that they're having an ag table is really exciting to me. And the fact that we've been asked to sit at that table as an expert is really exciting to me as well. So I just wanted to, that's not necessarily our plan, but that's the momentum that the work we've done to date is getting. And then further promotion of the succession planning work that we did, including additional residential units, and some promotion of that. We were also asked to look at that abattoir or meat processing terms of reference. We have submitted a terms of reference to council, and then the next step was to, during our consultations for the strategic plan, to make sure that meat processors were at the tables and that we could ask questions. And that did happen. We have got some information on that, and we will continue to gather information and then bring a report back to council on that. And then the continuation of the agritourism products. So Again, the reason I wanted to state the dates, these priorities were noted prior to the release or the launch of the Taste of Huron trails and the animation of that trail project. So, and we didn't just start it in March, just to be clear. But we have done work on that, and we will, as per the priorities of council, we will continue that agritourism promotion and development of products or events and animations. Continue to tell if we scroll down further under youth attraction, continue to tell the stories of opportunities available to youth in Huron County. This is where Director Rumble and I came together and said, I can't tell I don't know. I'm too far removed. So by youth, for youth. And we asked the youth that were working with us this summer just to begin a conversation. We really didn't know where it would go, and we're super impressed. So we're super impressed with where that one line went so far. And as you know, we've talked about where it's continuing. Exploration of videos on best practices regarding housing in agricultural areas. So in the work that the board did with its housing working group, we did do a first video, and the ask was that we consider to do more work in that way moving forward. So that's another item for us, and that completes the breakdown of the priorities as they relate to economic development. So I'm more than happy to answer any questions. And I thank the board for that question so that we could give you more details.
Questions?
I just had a question, Vicky, with respect to the succession planning. What's EDCO?
Oh, my apologies.
I just,
Very fair question. Economic Development Council of Ontario.
Gotcha.
So it's a professional development group at the Ontario level. And then there is a Canadian level and an international level of professional organization as well.
Okay.
So EDAC, IDAC, and EDCO. But EDCO is the one that they hold a conference every February.
okay.
It's a 2.5-day conference, and we do try to make sure that some team members attend that every year.
Is there?
For those succession plan inquiries, will you be actually like taking advantage of those opportunities? Like will you be
Yes.
going to Calgary and like maybe
Oh, we won't be going to Calgary, no,
To do the-
but we're
speak?
going to meet with Calgary to
Okay.
discuss how we got where we got.
Okay.
And there's no invitation so far. We'll be Zooming with them.
Okay. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
thinking, I mean, if there's opportunities to present, what you've done to either conferences or other
Yes.
areas, like it could be a great opportunity to kind of leverage those to not only promote the work that you've done, but to promote the area, right? There could be a lot of opportunities to leverage that material.
This
Sure.
is new work at a municipal level. Municipalities traditionally haven't, ag organizations have done some of this work. Municipalities haven't, but as we know, the impact that's going to be had around succession planning, not just in the ag sector, but across, is why we have a working group and why it is coming up in the focus group groups as well as important. And that work is not strictly ours, but it's being recognized as maybe there's a place for municipalities and counties to have some leadership role, especially through the small business enterprise centers, because those are located in counties across Ontario.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're speaking in those areas, then just promoting Huron County and all I mean, I think there could be a lot of crossover pollination there. That'd be great.
Councilor
Excellent
McNeil.
suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and I would like to extend congratulations to Vicky, your staff, and all involved in this. This is economic development. This is what it's all about. And the fact that it has been done so well is obvious of the need, and it has been recognized of what we're doing. So congratulations. This is exactly where we want Huron County to be positioned.
Thank you.
Good. Other comments, questions? Anybody else? I think it's great that it spells out in more detail. And it's, nice to have the chart on the wall here, but it's almost like every ECDA meeting we come to, we should pull that up and scroll through and, tick the boxes and make sure that we're doing the right things on behalf of the county and the county council, so. Well
We
done.
can do that.
So attach it to the agenda and
Instead
yes.
of land acknowledgement. the
Yeah, yeah.
County.
Priority acknowledgement.
Priority acknowledgement.
So if there's no other comments, we've got a motion for 9.4 in the agenda. Can I have a mover and a seconder for that? Who would like to do that?
I'll move it.
Ah, Tina and Derek. Any more discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. So moving on to 9.5, Economic Development Update, September 2025 by the director.
Just open to questions from anybody on the board.
Just amazes me how much is going on all the time. You know, you read through that and it's like,
Yeah.
holy crap, I don't know who's behind all this, but I get tired just reading it all. So,
It is a powerful
yeah.
team. So in total, including myself and our admin person, we're a team of 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very good.
I have a question.
Questions, comments?
Could I have a
Derek, go ahead.
just on the influencer marketing, what kind of traction did you get on that? Like I have just no experience in that realm at all whatsoever. I'm just kind of curious how that whole thing, in your opinion, worked out for you.
We found that it worked out really well. So we, in some cases, we had over 5,000 views on a single post, and then there were blogs, videos, and other assets that were created by the influencers. And again, back to the conversation about youth is not just a project. When we look at the way we've spent our promotional dollars for Ontario's West Coast, historically, we've done things like buy a full page ad in the tourist section that goes out in May in the Globe and Mail. But I would suspect that a lot of our youth are not necessarily reading the Globe and Mail. And so we're looking, we won't be buying that ad in 2026, which every other county does. And that's a big departure to not buy that ad. But when we apply a youth lens to what we do, and we look at tourism as a gateway to residency or a resident attraction activity, we want to speak to youth. So we're going to go with more influencers and not spend the money. And it is a significant advertising dollar. It is the bulk of our budget that goes to the Globe and Mail. We will be shifting that to work with younger influencers where we're looking at the demographic that follows them to make sure that we are now promoting to a more youthful audience so that they understand, as Leon talked about, they understand that we have waterfront, we have trails, we have nature, and we have a certain quality of life, and we want them to be exposed to that. So we have been so pleased with the impact of, or the exposure we get through those ads, which are through those influencers, which is also measurable, that we are shifting our dollars in that direction. So this past year, we've done both the Globe and influencers, and next year we'll be putting that money to influencers to have a broader reach.
That's great. I'd like to commend you for making that switch. Like it's maybe out of the realm of everybody in this room to do that, but I think, you know, it represents your focus that you need to always keep youth top of mind. I'd love to see some metrics in the future on how, you know, what the ROI is on on these programs or whatever. I think they're great, and I think that's the way of the future. And I don't think you can quantify that strictly. Maybe I don't really know what I'm saying. I don't know how you can ever quantify
Rick has access to those that type of statistics and has been reporting to me on that, and we would be more than happy to bring a report back to the board and to county council to show why we're making the shift and that we are making that significant shift. And it is a bit, I mean, nothing gained if we don't take a chance, but when all your when all your neighboring counties are pulling that full page in the Globe and Mail to be completely absent is a bit of a risk. But when we look at the demographic who's taking that paper and we look at the demographic we want to attract, they're not the same people.
Right.
So we won't spend the money there.
Yeah, and with risk, there's reward though.
Yes,
So now Huron County is going to become the leader of this.
exactly.
And I think other counties will start pulling their ads from the Globe and Mail as well, as because of what you have done and your team.
Thank you.
Right? So, yeah.
First mover.
I'll just comment, sorry, and Derek, just to respond, because digital marketing is my kind of full-time gig, so
Okay.
amongst the majority of my clients, like influencer marketing is probably amongst like the top three, like from an ROI perspective. Although in the last like 8 to 12 months, it's shifting because people are starting to get sick of the influencer, kind of influence, but we'll, kind of see where it goes. But influencer marketing is probably top three right now.
And what are the other two in the
Yeah.
top three?
Just digital ads in general have always been the highest ROI. Like search, like just general search, because you have an engaged audience. So that's been number one for quite a few years. And then just social, like other social posting has been number two. And then usually influencer, depending on the sector, is number three-ish, but it just depends on the audience.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but influencer marketing has been getting bad rap in the last like 6 to 8 months, so it's kind of trailing a little bit, but it just depends on the sector.
Rick and Ally are very good at keeping up with that. And so, they're leading this trend and this shift
Yeah.
slowly. Exploration for a year of both types and then moving fully to different types and
But it's not just youth, right? Like, I mean, and at least in Huron County, like Facebook is probably the most used digital platform, and it usually is in most rural areas. So even to get like a much more mature and older audience, Facebook is still like,
gonna do it.
yeah, it's gonna do it much more. Like newspaper is not even in the realm. Like it's not even for advertising. It's not even in there anymore. Like,
That's great. Thanks.
Jeepers. Great decision. Derek, did you have something you wanted to add?
No, I was just curious as to if the influencer marketing, and this is more just out of my general curiosity, what's picking up the slack where are those trends heading? I know it's probably hard to look even more than 12 months out, but where is that ecosystem going?
yeah, it depends on the sector quite a bit. But and it's more of a function of AI right now than anything else when it comes to kind of where things are headed, just because there's so much fake material being pushed on the internet right now. So, I mean, I have different theories, but it's all kind of more of a guessing game than anything else. You almost have to look at the data and then kind of, follow it. I have my own theories, but it's just, yeah, it's kind of hard to say, to be honest. Like it'd be more of my personal, kind of thoughts rather than any fact-based, kind of as to where it's going. But
That's fair.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
if I could ask a question, what's your personal thoughts? I value those.
I didn't know if we want to take up the time of it, but in a nutshell, yeah, exactly. In a nutshell, I think social media as we know it is going to die.
Yeah.
I think the flood of AI material and everything you're seeing is now fake. Like the majority of what you see is all generated. Everything, all those videos, all those posts, the majority of social is being inundated with automatic bots. Like people went to social media for human connection when they couldn't get it physically. They're not getting that anymore because social media is all fake.
Yeah.
So the social platforms they're gonna either social media becomes more for entertainment purposes and not for human connection anymore, which means they'll have to be either a different platform or a different way of getting those human interactions. And then social media just becomes entertainment value. But it'll disrupt, like it already has, but it'll basically annihilate most of those social platforms.
It's interesting that you say that, Ezra, because if you go back in your memories on Facebook, if you've been on Facebook
Oh,
for
yeah.
15 years or whatever,
Really?
and you'll notice like even your own post will be, I'm going to the hockey game tonight.
Yeah.
Right? It's simple one-liner just to let people know where you're going.
Sharing a
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's non-existent anymore.
It's crazy what AI is doing to like the digital takes over everything right now, but it's crazy. You don't even know you're being influenced by AI and you are. It is insane what's going on. It is so realistic. It'll blow your mind. It'll blow your mind how realistic it is.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Lynn.
I was just gonna, I mean, this isn't, it's totally off topic, but I mean, I also think that the impact of social media, now that we're seeing research into children and teenage brains, you know, how it affects the adolescent brain. And I see trends with parenting that parents are not gonna allow their children to have a phone until the age of, or if they have a phone, they're not gonna have access to the internet to,
Good luck.
well, yes, good luck. However, I think that it will evolve, right? Like right now, it's not happening, but the research is showing us that the negative impacts on the adolescent brain is so significant. And the tech companies are not going to change anything because they're making money, but it will be up to parents to, put boundaries and disciplines in place with respect to social media usage of their children. Parents have to first do that themselves. They have to model that for their children. But I think that the research is going to show the negative impacts on those adolescent brains, and then that will really change and evolve how, so, like tagging on to what you're talking about. But yeah, like it's interesting to me to see how that, I think it's going to change. Yeah. I think it'll take a while, but it's interesting.
You are seeing some countries legislating.
Yes, you are. And,
Yeah.
and I think
Right.
it's a matter of time before that happens here as well. But I think
Well, I've been at meetings where local residents are advocating for legislation so
Yeah.
that they can help to control cell phone use in
Yeah.
their children.
And I mean, we're only in year 2 of the school system putting rules in place about teenagers having their phones in class. Like I have a 30 and a 27-year-old who were at the cusp of it when they were in high school. And it was mind blowing to me at the time that teachers were allowing them to have their phones in class. And there was not a teacher. There was one teacher here at that time that said, no, all phones come put on my desk before class started. And it was shocking to me that was allowed. And it's just now that schools are seeing the impact of that. And the feedback from adolescents is that it's a positive thing. So anyway, off topic, but interesting stuff.
Well, I think it feeds into the challenge we face when we're trying to make decisions as the best routes moving forward, or the tools that make our departments more efficient. And yet the rules and restrictions and cybersecurity, everything that goes around that. And I think one of the most interesting statements I heard last year at EDCO was in a session around AI. And it wasn't strictly about AI, but about technology. And the statement was, we have never seen technology evolve faster than it is right now, and we will never see it evolve this slowly again.
Yeah, sure.
So it outlined really, I mean, there are AI tools or there are other digital tools that could make our work far more efficient, and yet they open a risk factor for the corporation. And so there's all that continual balancing of how do we make these decisions. So it's not really off topic, it's observational of what we're experiencing in our lives, but also when we try to manage efficiently and safely.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
You have to embrace it and keep on moving.
Yeah.
I think some of the work we're doing as a board and that you're doing as a department is already ahead of it though, because you're focusing on storytelling, right? Which automatically generates more trust than any polished campaign or something that can be AI generated as an image. So I think that we want to stay with the storytelling, with the podcast, with the creation of, so imagine, I don't know what the platform would be, but creating more micro groups. So founders under 40, youth, builders in Huron County, those kinds of things, those micro groups. And because we already think micro, because we're a county level active or department, I think we are more, aware of or open to those opportunities or what that might look like and how it might look differently than maybe a large urban corporation, for example. So I think there are opportunities here, and I think we are well placed to be open to what those might look like. And in fact, I would say we're already ahead of that with some of the ways we've practiced outreach in the past 24 months, especially. So I think you're in a good spot. Yeah.
Any more comments, questions on the report?
Oh, sorry, I did one more.
Oh,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Something interesting that you might want to check out is, and the youth group brought this up, there's an interesting Instagram site channel called Ottawa is Not Boring. Run by a young woman. And I thought, oh, that's one of the folks brought it up from the strat planning, but it's very real. It's just her going out and saying, this is what's going on in Ottawa this weekend for young people. And here I went, I did it. Here it is. How much it costs. It's pretty cool. So
Actually really brilliant.
yeah, I checked it out. It's quite good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So 9.5, we have a motion in the agenda. I have a mover and a seconder for that. Lynn? Roz? Any more discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. So moving on to 9.6, board member terms. I'll turn it over to Director Lass.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you to the board. So our terms of reference state that board members will have a 3-year term and they will be welcome to renew that for another 3 years. And so this report in front of you outlines that currently we have 3 board members who their term comes to an end next month. And then just to give you the full picture, Chair Vincent's term comes to an end next year in December. And then our newest members, their terms will expire at the end of December 2027. So it is today what we would like to do is ask for each of the 3 board members who are coming to the end of their term. It's their first 3-year term. So we'll be asking if they would like to continue to if they'd like to put their name forward for another 3-year term. And again, the process outlined in our terms of reference is that when that gets put forward, or if someone decides that anyone on this list decides that they do not want to continue with their current term or to renew for a term, then we strike the renewal recruitment committee, and then those appointments get approved or discussed and approved. And then we move forward with that, bringing a report back to the board, and the board votes on that. So this item begins with asking the 3 members if they are choosing to renew their term. That would be Tina Bax, Lynn Harris, and Derek Van Dieten.
Well, I will if Derek will and Lynn will.
Well played. Well played.
See that comment?
Yeah.
Yes, I will.
I will with an asterisk. I just actually finished up a campaign bid for director of Dairy Farmers of Ontario, and the election is counted next Tuesday. The ballots officially get counted the 11th, and that is a very large time and mental bandwidth commitment. And so I have to see where that lands first before I can commit to another 3-year term. This is a very dynamic group, and I've really appreciated every meeting, and I really like the conversation, and I'd like to keep it going, but I also have to be a little bit cognizant of not spreading myself too thin. So that's that's where I'm at on that. I hope that's an acceptable answer, if that's okay. So.
Conditional, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks,
Next
Derek.
Wednesday, I can give you a firm answer one way or another, if that's okay.
I'm a yes.
Okay,
With thanks.
good. So 9.6, we have a motion on the agenda.
We just might want to ask if there's anyone else who wants to
Oh,
alter
true.
their term, just to confirm that everyone's happy continuing on.
Sounds good. We're all here.
Good. Thank you. Yes, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
So the motion we have on the agenda at 9.6, can I have a mover and a seconder for that?
I'll move.
River, seconded by Derek. Any more discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. So we're on to 10.1 financial statement. Everybody have a look at that. Any comments, questions, concerns? Is there?
More comment. I see the majority of the funding comes from like provincial, like tax.
Yep.
I guess grants. Is there any risk in with the budget that just came out or anything that might get cut or changed or anything?
How would you answer that, Dr. Laos?
There's always a risk with external funding. With the budget that just came out, right now, the bulk of our federal funding is to support our local immigration partnership. We will be completing the first year of a 3-year agreement at the end of March of 2026. When you read the federal budget that just came out, there is a risk. So in this contract, we've already seen a reduction in funding, and there is a risk with the current budget because we don't know what their actual activities will be, but there is a risk that in 2 years and 3 months, 4 months time, we may look at a further reduction or an elimination of the funding that we're seeking. And yet, the risk that's really important for Huron County is that there are a number of temporary foreign workers who actually drive our agricultural sector. And so we depend on that labor. But yeah, we don't know what that will look like, but there is clearly stated that they will be accepting fewer newcomers, and that temporary category was named.
Yeah.
So temporary workers, students, and forget the other 3 listed, that will have a big impact. Now, what that will play out like, I don't know.
Right. So those are your mission critical kind of programs that want to continue funding and.
Well, workforce is
Right.
mission critical.
Sure.
And right now, there are a large number, I believe, but please don't quote me, over 900 individuals working in our ag sector on temporary permits.
I guess with the potential of that being risked, is there kind of contingency or other areas that this gets shifted if those fundings get cut, or revenue opportunities or something that can help kind of fill the gap if that gets cut by that much?
So what we're looking at in the new budget, just because there will be a larger shortfall than we've had previously, is we're looking at ways to generate dollars so that we don't impact levy at all, but still are able to run the programs. So we're looking, for example, at one of our publications, which is the newcomer guide, the welcoming guide. We've done an initial redesign, and at the bottom of every page, there'll be a space for an ad for a business or an organization that supports newcomers to purchase that. It will make the guide a bit longer, but overall, we believe that we can generate more than the shortfall just from the ad sales alone. That will take time and effort to do those sales, but in initial inquiries with some of the organizations we work with, they are interested. So that's a positive. The other thing that we're looking at is that in the last round of contracts, some of our neighboring counties did not have successful bids to get funding through IRCC. And so we have started very initial conversations about, is there a fee for service basis that we could help them start an immigration committee, at sort of share best practices and help them get up and running with the volunteer board like we have to address welcoming newcomers in their communities. And so the door has not been slammed in our face, but it's just opened. So it's premature to say whether that would work or not. So we are exploring different possibilities that through support from the ecosystem that supports newcomers, and then through other partners of collaboration, we might be able to have zero levy dollars applied to this line of business. And if our thoughts as we do this and we imagine more ways to become self-sustaining, then maybe federal funding won't be as important either.
Right, yeah, become self-reliant
That
in a
would-
way, yeah.
Well, after reading this week's budget, I
Yeah.
think we need to.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's the direction we need to go.
So there's no revenue from like the municipalities themselves, like none of our property taxes goes to.
Well, levy dollars
like-
currently are applied to the program, but
Okay.
it's about, we were running around 3 and 5% of levy dollars towards the IRCC contract dollars. So, and that's inching up to closer to 9, and it will go up higher in the next 2 years of the contract. And based on the budget, we don't even know if we'll get another contract. So we would like to control, we want to control levy dollars at all times. So.
Any more comments, questions? So we have a motion to accept the financial statements, kind of a mover and a seconder for that. Who would like to do that? John back there and Trevor. All those in favor of the motion? Opposed? Carried. We're getting close to the end here. Director Lass would like to say a few words.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of you for volunteering your time and your commitment and your passion to this board. And I would also like to let you know that I will have one more board meeting with you before my retirement. So I am retiring as of January 31st, 2026. And intending to leave you in very good hands, but we don't know what that looks like yet. But I'm quite positive that you will have, your next director will be also excellent, and they will be in good hands with you. So I'm really quite thrilled that the members who have been with us for 3 years will be back to
Not now.
help.
Sorry, it's a. Yeah, yeah.
The agenda was created for that reason.
Yeah. Strategic to the end. Congratulations.
And so I just want to thank you for all your time. It has been a privilege and an honor to serve with you. I'm not gone yet. I will be bringing back the strategic plan and the budget and presenting those both to you and to county council moving forward. And so I just wanted to let you know.
Certainly when I heard the nurse, first thing you say is, oh shit.
Yes.
But you gotta look for the positives. The positives of what Director Lass has done for the county, for the staff here, for the board here is ultimately amazing. Not many of you were here. I was here before Vicky, so I've seen full circle how we've come, and it is so amazing what the staff and with the director's guidance have accomplished in that time period. So we have been so lucky to have her with us for as long as it was, and it's been a tremendous journey. And on behalf of the board, thank you for all that you've done for us. County of Huron, so
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Yes. Yes.
She's got grandchildren, so she deserves some time with them. Yeah.
Yeah, and my daughter doesn't have childcare.
Oh,
Economic
oh,
reality.
So you're not really
It's not,
retiring.
no,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's not gonna be me full time.
Jane.
Let's be clear.
Awesome.
Anyway. So our next meeting is scheduled in January, although we do not know the date.
January 8th.
January 8th.
Tentative, it's not been approved by county council.
Okay.
But you can probably put that.
So likely the 8th. Perfect. So mark that down. And we can adjourn our meeting with the mover and a seconder, the warden, and who would like to second that? Somebody? We can't go home if we don't have a second. Tina? All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you so much, everyone, for your participation today. Another fabulous. Great discussion.